Good afternoon and welcome to Thriving Tuesday Moments of Encouragement, TTMOE at 3. We're glad that you're here with us. How are you, Dr. Chambers? Good to see your response. Glad that you are here. Grateful for everyone else who is populating. We see you. Please speak and let me know you're here. We won't be with you real long, but we wanted to come today and to just encourage your heart as we are at Valentine's Day tomorrow and also Ash Wednesday. I don't know another time when they have been at the same time on the exact same day, but for those of us who are in ministry, that's a pretty big day and it kind of puts that Valentine's Day on the back burner. But for those of us who have significant others, you'll figure it out, whether you do it today or you do it for breakfast or however you do things on tomorrow to honor your day. And then those of us who are without that SO to hang out with tomorrow, we will hang out with Jesus and get some ashes and begin our journey toward Good Friday, toward Holy Week, Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday. Hello, Miss Britt, and hey, Miss Lucy. All right. So today, I have a friend who actually we graduated together with our doctorates last spring, and she had a post on this week, and I'm gonna put her name in this. I don't know if it's gonna pop up. I'll do it later. What I want to do is make sure that she knows that she's being talked about today. So, Miss Felicia, Dr. Felicia Gross, I want to say to you, thank you for these thoughts because it helped me with today. So, happy Valentine's Day to you, Miss Lucy, and to everyone else here. And thank you, Britt, for the Valentine's colors for today. So, today I want to talk about not shrinking and shining. For those of us who are in ministry, and we tend to be in situations where titles are not always looked at as good. Sometimes we tend to shrink back. We tend to minimize our accomplishments because of what we don't want to, the optic we don't want to portray. We don't want people to think we think more highly of ourselves than we ought to think. We work in ministry for a purpose. There's a reason for working in ministry. And one of those is that we are trying to be there for those who may be on the margins, those who are less fortunate than we are. And so sometimes the titles get in the way. But one of the things that happens to some of us is that we diminish them so much that we forget that we went through some work to get there, and that there's nothing wrong with celebrating what you've accomplished. And so Dr. Gross reminded me this weekend that we went through this work and we went through what we went through for a purpose. And I'm going somewhere. So stay with me. And that we don't need to diminish what we've done in order to make someone else feel more comfortable. In fact, what we do is we end up dimming our light. And so people can't really see what God is able to do. So sometimes we must be very careful that in our quest to have humility, that we don't end up diminishing ourselves to a place where no one knows what God has done in us, like what God has done for us, what God has helped us to accomplish, because we lack an ability to celebrate those accomplishments, not just when they happen, but period. So when you see someone who has Reverend Doctor or Doctor in front of their names, or they have their letters on the back of their name instead of putting it on the front end, what I want to encourage us to do is to look at what they've done and to celebrate it. We've got to learn how to celebrate one another and not just look for that side of someone that is going to make them be on the same level as someone else. It's okay to shine, because your shine is not for you. And that's where we're headed. When we shine, our shine is not for us. And if our shine is for us, then God will clip those wings. I promise God will. But when we don't shrink and shine, because we are able to celebrate and to give God praise for what God has done in and through and to us, then we are able to glorify God. And when people see our glorification of God, they don't glorify us. They glorify God for what God is able to do. And it's not just for me, not just for Dr. Gross, not just for those who are watching, who have accomplished in their lives, but for everyone whom God has blessed with anything. Don't shrink when you've done, when you've accomplished, when something has come your way, when God has blessed you. Don't shrink. Don't diminish yourself. Don't say that it's nothing, that it doesn't matter, because your light must shine in order for God to get the glory. That's right, Miss Lucy. That is our theme scripture today. Let your light so shine before men that they will see your good deeds, see your accomplishments, and then glorify the Father in heaven. Don't shrink, shine. The more we shine, and we shine knowing our purpose, knowing what's inside of us is not us, but God that has put that inside of us so that we could accomplish, then we give God the glory. And those who are struggling or wondering, can I do this too? Is this in my purview? Is it something that I'm able to accomplish? Then they will know that because God has done it for and with and through you, that God can also do it for, with, and through them. And they will give God the glory. So don't shrink, shine. It's okay to celebrate what God has done. We run from the word proud because the word proud has a negative connotation. And we understand that. We understand that. However, there is a level of celebration that should come from that which we are able to accomplish, that which we are able to complete. The Philippians says that God will will your good works will be until the end, that God will be with you and will see your good things through to the very end. That he who's begun a good work in you will see it to the end. That's the scripture I wanted to say. So listen, don't shrink, shine. Shine even when it may seem like you might not want anyone to know what it is that you've done, and what it is that you've accomplished, and what it is that what doors that God has opened for you. Don't you know that when people know God has opened doors for you, then they can think and imagine and know that God will open doors for them as well. So my encouragement to us today is don't shrink, shine. Don't be ostentatious. Don't be arrogant. Don't run around talking about I, because the truth is, it's not us. It's what God has done. So we celebrate it because God has done it. And so I pray that you will look at your life whenever you see this, whoever you are, and that you will look at what God has allowed you to accomplish, and that you will not be so concerned about how it may look to someone that you fail to help someone who may be in need of knowing that God can do it. God will do it and will use us for God's glory in our accomplishments, in our careers, in our faith walk. Some of you are going through an awful lot, but your faith walk is strong. And when your faith walk is strong, then that's an accomplishment. When you're going through difficult seasons, but you are still able to keep going, you're still able to go through and show just how good God has been to you, even in the circumstance. It's not bragging, it's shining so God can get the glory. We are often so humble that we miss the mark. We miss what God allowed it to happen to us for. So it's okay to shine. It's just fine to shine. Don't shrink. Don't diminish. Don't lessen yourself because of something that God has allowed you to accomplish, God has allowed you to do. Don't minimize it, because someone needs to know that God did that in, for, and through you, so that God will get the glory. Because when you tell, when you show, it's out of gratefulness, not out of bragging, not out of look at what I did, but more than anything, look at how God has moved in my life. And the same God that is moved in my life is able to move in your life. That's witness. That's testimony. And when we fail to shine, we also fail our testimony. Because if no one knows what God has done for, to, through you, then they will not know that you have a testimony and that God has been better than good to you. And if God's been good to you, what he's done for others, he can do for someone else. So that's our message today. Thank you, Lady Clarice, Sister Mayetta. Good to see you. Just want you to know it's okay. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to lessen yourself. You don't have to be small. You have to be grateful. And you have to shine. Because when we shine, we glorify God. And others glorify God. Because our shine shows just what God is able to do in our lives. So may God bless and keep you, is my prayer. Don't shrink. Shine. And be encouraged. Send this to somebody else, someone you know who is sitting back, and you know what God has done through them. You know the gifts that God has given them, but they have a false sense of humility. Send this to them and tell them, don't shrink, shine, shine, because of what God has done in each of us. May God bless and keep you, is our prayer. Don't shrink, shine, and be encouraged. See you soon.